Hello everyone, welcome. This is Kaylee from the Healing Sound Arts program, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about playing chords with crystal singing bowls. So a lot of you don't have crystal singing bowls, but for those of you who do and you'd like to add some musicality to your sound baths, your sound journeys, your playing or sound meditations, today I'd like to offer you a chance to bring something of music into that. So people, our brains love patterns, and so when people hear chords or notes that are played together that are common in the music that they're used to listening to, they can more easily go into this place of peace and comfort, and their brainwaves will start to entrain with the music that you're creating much easier and quicker. And today I'm going to talk about what a chord is, what intervals are, and what types of chords you can play with the crystal singing bowls. So even if you don't have any bowls yet and you're thinking of which bowls should I start with, this might give you an idea. And then at the end I'll play some for you so you can hear the combination. So let's start off with what a chord is. A chord is when three or more notes are played together. Now, they don't have to be sounded together all at once like on a piano. If you have three crystal bowls, you can be playing all three, and one of them, the sound will keep going, so it'll be sustained. So, for example, on a piano, you might take three fingers and play three notes. But with the bowls, you would play one bowl, two bowls together. The sound keeps ringing from this one while you're playing the third one. So all three tones are kind of happening at once. So a chord, a basic three-note chord, would be made up of intervals, and an interval is the distance between one tone to the other tone, or one bowl, this bowl's tone here and this bowl's tone here. Okay, I'm playing two tones, and the interval is the distance between these two tones or notes. Now, a chord is made up of two intervals. So, for example, I have the distance between these two notes, and I have the distance between these two notes. So just think three bowls played together as a chord, and you have two that you're playing together that make an interval, and the other two that make an interval. Okay, so if I am playing a chord of C, E, and G, for example, that's a very common chord heard in our Western music. And so people naturally feel comfortable with that. It's easier for them to hear that and go, oh yeah, it's familiar, and then they can relax much quicker. So if you start with the note, for this chord I'm going to be illustrating with, if you start with the note C, that is kind of the base of this chord, C, E, G. So C, if you consider that the base, and you go up to the note of G, those are five notes apart. So C to G is an interval. The distance between these two tones is 5, perfect fifth, 5 notes apart. So you've got C, D, E, F, G. That's 5 notes apart. So a perfect fifth. And it just so happens that the brain will go right up to the fifth, like automatically. So if it hears a tone here because of the overtone series, your brain automatically hears 5 notes apart right away. So if you want to use a chord, and say you have a 7-piece bowl set where you just want to start with 3, you can easily play C as your bass and then G as the perfect fifth. They go very very well together, and people are used to hearing it. It's familiar. And then if you want to add the third, which is C, D, E, C, E, that's the distance between, or the interval of a third. C and E are a third apart. So in this combination, C, E, G, we have a chord. And it's a major chord, but we're not going to get into that major and minor right now. So this is what it sounds like. C as the bass. E, play those two together. And now, because I'm making the sound go around and around continually, we call that a sustain. So now I'm going to switch over. I'm going to bring this hand over here to the middle bowl here, and I'm going to bring this hand over to the bowl on my right, which is a C. Now I'm playing C, G. And this is a sustain because I'm keeping the sound going. Okay, now I'm going to switch back to E. Now, you may not be able to hear it that well, but the G is still going for a while, so you have all three going at the same time. And you can play E and G together as well. That would be another third apart. So you could spend some time in a sound bath or a sound journey going back and forth from those two bowls to the center bowl, playing two at a time, allowing the sound to just, or the bowls to just sing, and get people nice and relaxed with that. You can also tap them like this. And we have this thing, if you want to keep a consistent rhythm, our brains like patterns. So you can strike lightly the C and let it ring for a while. And then the G, you might let that ring for a little bit. And hit the C again. And then the G. So you create a little melody out of a rhythmic pattern. You can also hit C. And you can strike the bowls very lightly in a pattern, striking the same one, you know, in the same order. So C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G, and it creates a nice rhythmic melody. And then you can go into your sustain. And there's a number of ways, or order that you can play these. You don't have to start with the C. You can start with the G, E, G, E, C. Kind of like raindrops falling down on the roof or something like that. So what this will do is just to add a little bit of musicality to what you're playing, and these intervals and a chord C, E, G is very recognizable by our brains, especially since we listen to all the Western music out there, and it's in the Western music, a very common chord. So I hope this helps you today, and before we leave, I'm going to play another chord for you in case you need one. This would be the D major chord, D, F sharp, A. Okay, so now I have a little bit of a different chord. And remember, a chord is 3 or more notes played at the same time. And a chord is made up of intervals, the distance between 2 notes. So usually it's made up of a third and a fifth. So here we have the note of D. We have an A, which is the fifth, and then we have F sharp, which is the third from the D. F sharp to A is a third. And then D to A is the fifth, the perfect fifth. So if I were to get the D going as the bass, and then bring in the third, which is the F sharp. Now this is also a very common chord, heard in much Western music. I'm going to switch over to the A. And as I'm playing the bowls, notice I'm not grinding the mallet into the bowl. It's just I'm holding these very lightly. And you don't have to sound the bowl as much as people think. You just tap it very lightly. So this is D, and this is F sharp. And I'm going to let go of D, and I'm going to play A over here with the F sharp. That just sounds amazing to me. So, and notice that the D that we're using as the bass doesn't have to be the largest bowl. In fact, the largest bowl is this F sharp over here. So the F sharp is, I think it's a 12-inch or an 11-inch. This D is a 10-inch, and then the A over here is a 10-inch. And when you play A's, when you purchase the A bowls, they always sound deeper than the rest of the bowls. And that's F sharp and A. And again, you can make a little rhythmic pattern. And then you repeat it. And we're repeating patterns because the brain loves patterns, and it helps us to relax more and deeply go in. And that's the whole idea, is to be natural, deeply rest, so that we can receive this magnificent healing. So I hope this video helped you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to make more videos. And check out my Patreon account, where we're going to have classes every month, 2 classes a month for Patreon Gold, and they'll be with live Q&A. So I hope you can join us for that, and thanks for tuning in.